programa bilingüe de ACC TV.
Ready, Set, Ascender.
Yo soy Alejandra Polchik, manager del programa.
Y yo soy Diana Gorcieta, la coordinadora de Ascender. And we're so excited to be back with you after the summer break. Can you believe this fall semester is already here, Ale?
Sí, el verano pasó volando y con mucho calor.
It really did.
Pero reflexionando me pongo a pensar, wow, el tiempo en realidad se nos escapó de las manos. Y esto nos recuerda que tenemos que irnos más despacito y apreciar cada día más y más.
Exactly. When we are mindful of how quickly time passes, we become more intentional. You know, we find joy in those small moments, the people around us, el cafecito en la mañana.
Yummy. O simplemente tomarse un respiro antes de empezar el día ocupado. Entonces, ya sea que hayas tenido un verano tranquilo o uno muy ocupado, esperamos que hayas encontrado el tiempo para descansar, reconectar con tu familia, cargar las baterías, porque vamos a empezar este semestre lleno de energía.
Yeah, and this episode is extra special because this year we're celebrating 10 years of Ascender at Austin Community College. ¿Qué estamos celebrando, Ale?
Los 10 añotes que cumple Ascender en ACC. So today we're going to do things differently because we're going back to the beginning to where this journey started and how it's grown into what is today. Empezamos desde el principio para ver cómo hemos crecido.
So we'll explore the history of the program, how it made its way to ACC, and the impact it's had on over 1,000 students, faculty, and staff, including us.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of celebrations, did you know that Latin American Cultural Center, also known as El Centro, is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year?
El centro está cumpliendo 30 años y para celebrar unimos fuerzas. Y el viernes 12 de septiembre estamos invitando a todos, a los estudiantes, profesores, empleados y exalumnos de Ascender a que nos acompañen en una celebración muy especial llamada Juntos We Make History.
Yes, join us for Juntos We Make History at the ACC Highland Campus on Friday, September 12th. This event is our way of celebrating our anniversaries and kicking off Hispanic Heritage Month with community, culture, music, food, awesome prices, y con mucha alegría. To RSVP and see more events happening throughout Hispanic Heritage Month, visit austincc.edu/HHM.
Y para más información sobre el evento, visita la página de web que está en la pantalla. Y ahora sí, pónganse cómodos, agarren sus abritas o sus taquis con sus deditos rojos and join us as we celebrate this special anniversary episode.
All right, let's do it.
Rápido, we're taking it back to the 1980s. ¿Sabías que Ascender tiene raíces tan profundas que van desde California en los años 80? We're not old, we're vintage.
Vintage, I love that. Well, back in the early 1980s, colleges noticed that the underserved students were enrolling, but many weren't transferring or even graduating. They lacked support, role models, and culturally relevant content in their classes. So in 1981, educators at a college in California created the Puente Project. It combined English college-level classes, personalized counseling, and mentorship to help students gain confidence and transfer to four-year universities. And it worked.
It worked.
It worked. Puente became a statewide model for student success, but the story didn't stop here, right, Ale?
No, la saga continuó en el 2015 porque el modelo de enseñanza fue traído a Austin Community College gracias a la organización Catch the Next. They brought the program to ACC and they renamed it Ascender to better serve the unique needs of Texas students. Y bueno, Catch the Next no es solo el modelo a seguir. They train our professors to be mentors and to teach contextualized courses donde está el aprendizaje basado en las experiencias reales, la cultura y la identidad estudiantil.
Oh, and the name Ascender, that came from ACC students themselves. It is an acronym that stands for Achieving Student Confidence, Encouraging New Dreams, Excellence Realized. Here's something important to note. Ascender is open to all students. That's right, all ACC students, no matter your gender, race, or background. While our events celebrate Latino culture, that's just the spice and the beauty of the program. Sharing traditions, exploring differences and similarities, and learning from one another.
Y no tienes que ser latino. And you don't need to speak Spanish to belong. Tenemos un dicho en el programa que se llama Mi casa es tu casa, my home is your home.
Claro que sí, everyone is welcome. And while Ascender is offered at colleges across Texas, not to brag, but ACC is currently the only college that provides one-on-one mentoring thanks to our incredibly, faculty and staff here at ACC who volunteer their time to mentor students for an entire academic year.
Cuando escuches el nombre Ascender, estás escuchando algo más que un nombre. Estás escuchando un legado de éxito estudiantil y de mentoría que empodera a los estudiantes. Un movimiento que empezó años atrás gracias a ti. Y tú también puedes ser parte de ello. You can be a mentor, a student, or an amigo. Juntos, we are part of that legacy.
That's so powerful, Ale. And it's true. Behind every story, there's someone who believed, someone who took that first step, which brings us to our next point. Let's put the spotlight on Ale. Oh, I'm so excited. So, how did it feel when you first found out about Ascender and that you were going to be part of this?
Bueno, mi experiencia fue tan especial porque yo era maestra de español y estaba trabajando aquí haciendo comunicaciones para ACC. Y cuando me dijeron que iba a estar a cargo de este programa, Diana, se me cerró el mundo. Pues sí, porque no tenía idea cómo iba a organizar un programa con maestros, buscar mentores y organizar un montón de eventos. Lo bueno es que era un grupito chiquito con 15 estudiantes solamente en aquel entonces, pero aún así yo pensaba que no iban a estar muy interesados. Diana, the students ghosted me.
Oh.
There were several occasions when they didn't respond my emails or attended events.
Well, that was a very small cohort. So, how did you manage to pull all of this off?
Well, I had to go in person to their classrooms and speak to them after class. I was 100% honest with them y les dije, estamos aquí para ti, pero necesitamos que tú también pongas de tu parte.
How about the mentors? How did the recruiting for that work out?
Otra cosa, pensé que iba a ser muy difícil encontrarlos, pero to my surprise, Diana, there were plenty of people with big hearts here at ACC willing to participate and help.
When did it come together, the students and the mentors? When did it finally come through?
Well, the moment I truly felt that this was working, like this program, was during the first celebration. I saw the pride on the parents' faces, and at the end of the event, they were happy, proud to see their students finishing the first year of college. That fear of going to college or that feeling of uncertainty, it was gone. Their faces looked relieved, there were smiles everywhere, and that sense of sí se pudo, I felt it too. That's when I say, I love my job. And I knew I had to keep doing this more and more to help students because this program really can change their journey.
Yeah, and celebration is something that you never forget. It's not just a party. It's an emotional reward for all the little moments that, that you wonder that, is this actually working?
Yes, I agree with you. I found a deep sense of gratitude and purpose through this program. I am immensely grateful for the work with such dedicated teachers and advisors who truly pour their hearts into this work. But I also have to say I've had tough moments too. I felt truly defeated during the pandemic. The pandemic hit student morale hard, Diana.
Yeah, I remember at the time I was working with you as an hourly student, and I remember feeling very disconnected as well. Yeah. But, it made us appreciate more how hard you were actually working.
Yes, at that time I was working with Megan Diaz, shout out to Megan, a coordinator and also a good friend, and she kept me inspired. I learned a lot during that period because we had to be creative and find ways to build comunidad. That's when we started doing virtual loteria nights, drive-through orientations, and celebration events. And it's actually how this show began with eventually Megan. She moved on, and then you came in. And Diana, it's been such a fun time working with you.
Oh.
I'm extremely proud of the work we have done and everything we accomplished together. And I can't wait to see what the next 10 years are going to bring.
Oh, I love that. And I have to say, I'm living proof of the impact that you've had, Fun fact, Ale was the one who recruited me when I was a senior in high school. And to be honest, I had no idea what ACC was. Like many students, I was told I needed to go straight to a four-year university as if that was the only path.
And we both know that's not true. Claro que no.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. So from the beginning, I knew I wanted to go to college. My parents sacrificed so much for me so that way I could have a shot at the American dream. El famoso sueño americano. But what I didn't realize was that there were other ways to get there, like ACC. I got accepted to all the universities that I applied to, and you know, don't get me wrong, that was a huge moment for me. But when the financial aid letters came in, you know, reality hit. It wasn't enough money, you know. There was no way I could go on without taking out big loans, and that terrified me.
Y esa historia pasa todo el tiempo, Diana, y no es justo.
Yeah, it's not. But I had my parents who were very supportive, but as a first-gen student, I had to figure out most of it on my own. And I still remember you saying, we help students transfer to a four-year university at a lower cost. And I was like, sold. Where do I sign up, Ale?
I remember you so calladita, and now look at you. You are giving back. And ¿cuál fue tu parte favorita, Diana?
Well, one of my favorite parts, I would have to say it's the family inclusion.
Yeah.
Ale made the events bilingual, which made it even more memorable in my experience because I could invite my parents who also felt included and understood what was going on. I wasn't just going to college, I was bringing my family with me.
Eso es exactamente lo que queríamos crear. Una familia incluida. Tenemos que incluirlos y cambiar el rumbo de tantos estudiantes talentosos como tú para que llegaran a lugares que no se imaginaban a través de la educación. We wanted to cultivate everyone who is part of the student life, despite the language. Everybody should feel included.
And like you said, now I get to help other students follow that same path, just like how you did for me.
Y esa es la fortaleza del programa. Empieza con una conexión y crea una comunidad.
Bueno, we hope this encouraged you to share your own personal story with us. Please email us and share how Ascender or even ACC has helped you.
Sí, comparte tu historia enviándonos un correo electrónico sobre cómo Ascender y ACC te han ayudado a cumplir tus sueños y metas.
Bueno, we are not done here just yet. Let's move on to our next segment, Students in Acción. ¿Lista, Ale?
¡Vamos!
For this segment of Students en Acción, and in celebration of our 10th anniversary, we want you to meet our incredible Ascender scholar from our second cohort back in 2016. Please welcome Azucena Rivera, or as many of us know her as Susie. She began her journey right here at the Riverside campus and later transferred to Texas State University in San Marcos, where she earned her bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2021.
Y después de empezar a trabajar y muchas otras familias y niños, ahora está dando un gran paso en su vida. Está empezando su maestría en trabajo social este otoño en la Universidad de Texas en Arlington. Y un dato chistoso, antes de todo, Susi era la portera estrella del equipo de fútbol de la Preparatoria del Valle. Toda una líder, sí eres. De hecho, Susi y Diana se conocieron un poco jugando fútbol, pero no fue hasta que estuvieron en el programa en Ascender, tomando clases juntas, que realmente se hicieron amigas. Y aquí está para platicarnos todo. ¿Cómo estás, Susi? Está tanto tiempo sin verte. Estoy súper orgullosa de que estés aquí.
Muchas gracias por invitarme a tu show de Ascender. Estoy muy agradecida de que estoy aquí.
Nosotros estamos más, pero bueno. What led you to join the Ascender program at ACC, and why ACC?
So I started talking to my advisor. I was telling her all the fears that I had, you know, as a first-time college student. I didn't want to be alone. I was scared I wasn't going to succeed in my classes. And well, she then told me about the program Ascender, that I could make my own community and be like on a closer level with my professors. And I really liked that because I felt like I was going to get the support that I needed. And then I chose ACC because it was just a great financial opportunity. And as well as I was trying to take into my older sister's footsteps.
Yeah.
She said it was such a great community college that I would get more resources if I started here first.
You took a great decision, right?
Yeah, it was
Yes,
the
you
best
did.
decision.
And it was such a rewarding experience just to go through the program with Susie.
Yeah.
But tell us about, what was your favorite part about being in Ascender? And by any chance, did you make any long-lasting friendships?
So the very first day of classes, I was scanning the room, very nervous. And well, I saw Diana and I felt so much relief. I was like, I'm not going to be alone. Thank God. Yeah. And well, I saw more of people from high school that I went to school with, sorry. And it made me feel like more...
Feel comfortable.
I felt comfortable.
Good.
My other favorite memory was the ascender ceremony, where we got these beautiful stoles.
Celebración,
The celebración. And I got to show my family like a little bit of what I'm doing in college and something that they could be proud of me for. And it also motivated me to graduate, so I could wear it and show it off.
We need to see those pictures.
Bueno, ¿cómo fue la transición de ACC a Texas State? Porque muchos piensan que es bien fácil. ¿Cuáles fueron los retos más difíciles y cómo encontraste tu comunidad en Texas State y qué fue lo que ayudó a adaptarte a Texas State?
La transición fue muy difícil realmente, porque aquí ya saben que la clase es más pequeña, tienes más oportunidad de hablar con tu profesor, más oportunidad de hablar con tus compañeros y ya cuando me transferí a Texas State, la clase estaba súper enorme. Y pues verdaderamente pensé que ¿qué voy a hacer? No tengo soporte como lo tenía en ACC. Pero ya hablando más con compañeros through group me chats, me sentí más bien en pedir ayuda de los compañeros y también de hablar con mis profesores.
Yeah, so how was it when you walked the stage where your setup is still, and then did you jump in the river?
Yes, I jumped in the river. I was scared.
Was it cold? Was it in the
It
summer?
was very cold. I thought I was gonna drown, but then my friend was like, "Stand up!" So I just stand up, and I was fine. I did not jump with my stole. I wanted to keep it safe and dry.
So you wore your stole.
I wore my stole to graduation. Yes. It just added a little color to my outfit, and it made me proud to be Latina también.
Awesome, se me enchina la piel. So, entonces, decidiste estudiar Criminal Justice o Justicia Criminal
Sí.
con la esperanza de ser detective, pero después de tu graduación, algo pasó. Platícanos qué fue eso and how did you end up finding a job as a youth care worker?
So, al principio, como todos saben, no es fácil encontrar trabajo después de que te gradúes. Estaba buscando como loca en Indeed. En Indeed buscaba, no sé, ni me acuerdo qué estaba haciéndole search, pero me acuerdo que puse bilingual jobs.
Bilingual jobs.
Y me salió uno de Youth Care Worker y yo, pues, ¿qué es eso? A ver. Y vi que era para ayudar a niños como a acomodarse aquí en los Estados Unidos y reunificarlos con su familia aquí, que ya están aquí. Y pues ahí empecé mi job de Youth Care Worker en Pecos, Texas.
And you also mentioned that you were Employee of the Month. I think that's worth sharing.
Sí.
How was
Oh my God.
What were the
Okay.
benefits?
So yes, I got the Employee of the Month in January, and I get to have a merit day, which means you can take off any day you want, paid for, and you get to park in the front.
What advice would you give a student who's going to start ACC for the first time, but advice for yourself as well? Like, you're starting a master's program. That's going to be a new experience. What are you going to do, to make it through the program?
Look for the resources. Join Ascender because it'll help you navigate your first year by providing you with a sense of community, resources, just making you feel like you're at a safe place for school.
Thank you so much, Susie, for sharing your story. Honestly, it's so inspiring, and I get inspired every single time. I'm so happy to be your friend and, just continue growing.
And to answer your question at the beginning, Diana, yes, I have made a wonderful friend right here since we were in high school. I feel like she has strengthened me, giving me motivation, strengthened my faith también, which was very important to me. And she's just always been there, even though life gets in the way. I know she'll always be there with her arms open to greet me.
Oh, thank you, Susie. And I'm really happy that we were able to do this together. I mean, despite the different majors, we were able to take classes together, build this amazing friendship, and I can't wait to see what else you accomplish now.
I love it.
And thank you, Alejandra.
Thank you muchísimas gracias por compartir tu historia con nosotros y me llena el corazón ver esto, las flores que sembramos.
Thank you, Ale.
Thank you.
Nos vemos. Hoy Hoy en nuestro segmento en la comunidad tenemos a Sandy Fernández, una exalumna de Ascender que se transfirió a la Universidad de Texas en Austin y terminó su licenciatura en Trabajo Social.
Sandy is also an entrepreneur too. She founded a family business called Armonía, which is inspired by cariño, the warmth and care that you receive when you feel at home. Through this venture, she creates candles, massage oils, incense, and other comforting items designed to bring a sense of well-being and connection. Let's go check it out.
Bienvenida, Sandy Fernández.
Gracias.
A Ready Set Ascender, tu casa.
Gracias.
We are super proud of you. ¿Cómo fue tu experiencia en Ascender?
Extraordinaria. Debido a que, pues, yo siendo inmigrante no tenía ninguna experiencia en entrar al colegio. Entonces, Ascender fue crearon una familia para mí, para que yo pudiera navegar todos esos problemas y para que, ahora sí, como que me concentrara yo a lo que iba, a la escuela, a estudiar y eso. Entonces, el hecho de que nos dieron un mentor, de que teníamos los mismos compañeros, se creó esa armonía, esa familia. Entonces, a mí me ayudó muchísimo a navegar todo lo que se refiere al colegio y a
Excelente,
estudiar.
estamos súper orgullosas y sobre todo el éxito que has tenido. You were one of the students who transferred to UT. So tell us, how was UT?
UT was not in my plan, okay?
Really?
So, yeah, UT was intimidating for me. But something really shifted, when my kiddo went to school and they told him they had to, have realistic dreams. And that woke me up in a sense. Is why are you saying realistic dreams? Nobody can determine your dreams. Nobody can measure your dreams. Then the next day I went and changed everything, all my courses. I said they have to be transferred to UT, and I said I'm gonna go for it.
¿Cómo empezó todo esto y qué fue lo que te inspiró a crear este negocio?
Bueno, el negocio empieza en la casa, en la mesa.
¿En tu casa,
platicando.
casa?
Sí, en la casa, en la mesa, las conversaciones. Y en ese tiempo estábamos pasando por la pandemia.
Sí.
Entonces, una de las cosas que nosotros estábamos dándonos cuenta que la conexión que nosotros teníamos con nuestra casa, con nuestro cuerpo, no estaba presente en realidad. O sea, a pesar de que nosotros llevábamos nuestra casa o nuestro hogar como nuestro santuario, en realidad empezamos a ver la desconexión que teníamos.
Sí.
Entonces, también la desconexión que se crea por estar lejos.
La frialdad, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Bueno, en Ascender es muy importante incorporar a la familia. Siempre incorporamos a la familia en el programa. Y Sandy no es la excepción. También ella la incorporó en el programa siempre. Y también en el negocio. Sí. Y aquí están, platícanos, Steve y Mateo.
Sí, yo trabajo con mi familia, vivo con mi familia, ¿verdad? Un poco loco, pero sí. Él es Steve, él es mi hijo y él es Mateo, él es la pareja de Steve. Y sí, los tres somos cofundadores de Armonía.
Excelente. ¿Y cómo le hacen? ¿Cómo incorporan a la familia?
Pues al principio no fue planeado, ¿verdad? Todo fue como dijimos, o sea, vamos a hacer el negocio, estamos los tres tenemos las ganas, vamos a echarle y ya después empezamos a ver que sí iba a ser un poco complicado. Entonces empezar a ver las habilidades de cada quien, ver quién se iba a dedicar a cuál cosa y más que nada entender de que éramos familia, pero también éramos cofundadores, empresarios, entonces teníamos que empezar a cambiar el lenguaje también entre nosotros. O sea, porque pues sí, o sea, el hecho de que él es mi hijo y es diferente, ¿verdad? Que cuando se pone en un aspecto de negocio. Entonces ya no es el hijo, ya es mi co-founder, ¿verdad?
Sí, noté que él te decía, Sandy, cuando y luego yo, es tu mamá. Ese es el lenguaje de los negocios.
Correcto.
Ahora, Sandy, Steve y Mateo, platíquenme de sus productos.
So yes, right here we have the tools, I like to call them. Everything was born because, we really wanted to make people have an experience and nothing less. We have our Yucatana and our Papacho. Those are how we started Armonía.
¿Cuál es Yucatana?
Yucatana is a midsummer vacation, like a postcard, like through the senses. And then, of course, we have our Papacho. Our Papacho, that's our body massage oil. A Papacho is in Nahuatl. It means to comfort, to soothe in the crest of soul. It has damask rose, Japanese hinoki wood, wild harvested cedar. It's rosy and woody. And then we have our candles. So they're inspired by Latin gastronomy. The gardens and the kitchens. We have a piloncillo and we have aguamiel. Piloncillo's gourmand. It has Mexican vanilla, smoked oud. It's inspired by the café de olla. And then we have aguamiel. We call it an origin story. And it's before tequila and mezcal. And it's a sap before in agave. It's celebrating the raw. It has pampas grass, anise, smoked honey. It just feels like, you're como en Jalisco, en la tierra y el sol.
¿Dónde encontramos sus productos? Platíquenos.
Yes.
Bueno, nos pueden encontrar en en línea, armoniahw.com.
La página.
Sí, y luego también nos pueden encontrar en Instagram, será armonia.hw. Y luego también tenemos unas tiendas aquí locales en Austin. Nos pueden encontrar en una tienda de Golden Mean, también en Noah Marion y en Earth Commons.
A través de este proceso de la educación y de los negocios que es tan complejo, ¿qué les puedes decir a los estudiantes que se acaban de graduar de high school o a las personas que están empezando un negocio? ¿Qué consejo les puedes dar para que no limiten sus sueños como lo mencionaste tú?
Resaltando eso, que no dejen que nadie limite las posibilidades que hay afuera, que ellos busquen las herramientas, busquen los mentores, busquen las gentes que los van a apoyar en sus sueños. Son las personas que creen en ti, son las personas que te van a levantar cuando tú no crees en ti. Uh-huh. Entonces es importante buscar las personas que te van a ayudar a hacer eso y que más que nada que tú no te rindas, que tú sigas luchando por lo que tú crees.
Para concluir, pues les agradezco muchísimo su presencia, su cariño, sus apapachos, ¿verdad?
Gracias.
¿Hay algo más que quieres agregar, Sandy?
Ay, no, pues solamente agradecerte la oportunidad de tenernos aquí, de seguir haciendo, crecer esta comunidad y de saber que, todas las personas que tengan sus sueños y que quieran empezar un negocio, que se avienten, que hay muchos recursos aquí, que vayan, que salgan, que busquen y que se apoyen de la comunidad. No hay límites, ¿me entiendes? No hay límites.
Como dicen que la peor decisión que puedes haber es la que no tomas.
Correcto.
Entonces, que se avienten, ¿verdad?
Uh-huh.
Como acabas de decir.
Correcto.
Y que busquen los mentores, que busquen su comunidad para que sean triunfadores, ya sea en los estudios o en los negocios. Pues les agradezco muchísimo de nuevo la oportunidad de compartir toda esta sabiduría y amor con nosotros y volvemos al estudio. Muchísimas gracias a nuestras dos alumnas, Susi y Sandy, por compartir su historia y a nuestra hermosa audiencia por acompañarnos en este episodio tan especial, celebrando los 10 años del programa Ascender. No olviden visitar nuestra página austincc.edu/ascender para conocer más. Y recuerden que ACC te puede ayudar a lograr tus sueños, porque en ACC empiezas aquí y llegas lejos.
That's right. As we celebrate 10 years of Ascender, we're switching things up a bit this season to bring you even more ways to stay connected, get involved, and be inspired by our amazing community. And students, this show is for you. If you have any ideas or suggestions about what you want us to talk about or who you want us to interview or even feature, send us an email at ascender@austincc.edu. We'll see you next time.
Adiós.